Hi there, welcome back to Camera Than Coffee, where you and me talk about deserving cameras so that you can take the right buying decision. And today, I'm damn excited to share with you a detailed specs comparison of the new Canon R7 and not so old, a good one, Fuji X-T4. It's a new channel, so if you find this video helpful, do consider subscribing. It helps me when you do that. Cool, let's begin. So the Fuji X-T4 was released in April 2020, and 2 years after that, today we are comparing it with the newly launched Canon R7, which is priced $200 lesser than the X-T4. Let's start with the most important specs of the cameras. So both the cameras have APS-C CMOS sensor, but the new R7 moves slightly ahead with a sensor that has 32.5 effective megapixels. Better the sensor, better the details. And both the cameras have their latest processors, so you don't have to worry about the speed and other operations of the cameras. And together, the sensor and the processor on both the cameras allow 15 fps continuous shooting using mechanical shutter and 30 fps using electronic shutter. Speaking of ISO, I would say that Canon R7 wins the battle as it has a wider range both on the lower side and the higher side. But talking about shutter speed is the opposite. Fuji X-T4 will give you more options when capturing slow or fast action. Next up is autofocus, and good for us as creators, both the cameras have the latest and best autofocus system of their respective companies that allows smooth and confident continuous focusing in all recording modes. But if we talk about AF points, the R7 has 651 AF points in automatic selection mode, 5915 points when capturing a photograph in manual mode, and 4823 points when recording a movie in manual mode. Whereas on the other hand, Fuji X-T4 has 425 face detection AF points and 425 deeply positioned contrast detection AF points. And during the nighttime photography or in low light situation when the light is not in our favor, the X-T4 moves slightly ahead of R7 as it claims to focus down to light level of -7 EV. And yes, both the cameras have eye, face and head detection in case of humans, animals or birds, plus they also have the real-time tracking. Thank God. Looking at the dimensions of both the cameras, even though they almost weigh the same, but they carry a very different look altogether. I can say that X-T4 has got some retro vibes thanks to the top dials, whereas the R7 on the other hand has modern vibes. Moving on, good for creators, both the cameras have an articulating touchscreen with almost similar display quality, which is really helpful when taking a high angle or low angle shot, and obviously when you're vlogging. But things are quite different when it comes to electronic viewfinder. The one on X-T4 is bigger and has 3.69 million dots, which simply makes it comparatively better. And unfortunately, both the cameras don't have an internal flash. But it's okay because external flash is always a better option. As far as storage is concerned, one really good thing both the cameras have is that they allow SD UHS 2 cards in both the slots, delivering faster writing speed and better buffer capabilities. Now let's look at the battery. Both the cameras have internally chargeable batteries. However, it looks like the R7 has better battery capacity as it has the same battery that is used in full frame R5 and R6. And regarding the video battery life, the Canon hasn't really specified anything about R7, but I will surely let you know once I get to know about it from my fellow creators. Now here is another important point, weather sealing. Both the cameras claim that they are water and dust resistant. But honestly speaking, they are not 100% sealed, and their resistance doesn't prevent water or dust from entering the camera. So yeah, you need to take your own precautions. And yes, there is RF mount on R7 and X mount on the Fuji X-T4. Cool. Now before we move on to video features, let's have a 10-second quick look at the ports present on both the cameras. Now here I must point out that X-T4 doesn't have a dedicated headphone jack. But no need to worry because you will get a headphone adapter in the box. And now my favorite, video specs. Starting with the best thing, Canon R7 doesn't have any recording limit, whereas the X-T4 has a 20 to 30 minutes recording limit depending on the frame rate. And the best they have to offer is UHD 4K up to 60p in R7 and DCI 4K up to 60p in X-T4. So if you're looking for that wider version, you should definitely go for X-T4. As far as Full HD recording is concerned, you can record a slow motion video up to 120p in R7 and up to 240p in Fuji X-T4, but you do have a 3-minute recording limit in that case. And just like internal recording, both the cameras are super cool with the external recording. Moving on, good for videographers, both the cameras have their best log profiles. And not to forget, both the cameras have in-body image stabilization, but the one on R7 has 8 stops of correction. So it will be interesting to see how it performs better than X-T4. And last but not the least, both the cameras can be used for live streaming. But Canon has specified that the R7 only supports live streaming on YouTube. Cool. This is it. Thank you so much for stopping by. And if you find this video helpful, do support me by subscribing. I'll see you in the next video.